All right, you're here to practice for Concept Quiz 5, so let's go ahead and look at this. We have a bakery, and we have some resources. So we have 10 pounds of flour as a limitation, and 5 pounds of sugar. So we have a sugar situation of 5 pounds, and a flour situation of 10 pounds. And then we have a cookie, so we're going to have cookies be X. A batch of cookie uses 1 pound of flour. So in terms of our 10 pounds of flour, each cookie batch uses 1, and the cakes use 1.5 pounds. So if I just made one of each, I would use 2.5 pounds. Totally fine, I have 10. If I use 2 of this and 1 of this, I would use what, 2, 3, 3.5 pounds, which is less than that. I can use up to my 10, but I need to obviously make sure I use less than or equal to. But all of this inequality has to do with flour because that is our limitation. Our variables are our X and our Y, our cookies and our cakes. So the other component that we have is sugar. Again, we can use up to 5 pounds of the sugar. So this is all about flour. This is all about sugar. And so say I made 1 batch of each. I would use 0.5 for my 1 batch of cookies, and I would use 1 for my 1 batch of cake. And so I would use 1.5 of it. Clearly, I can make more than that. So again, we need to figure out an inequality just for the sugar constraint, and then another inequality just for the flour constraint using our 2 variables because I can make multiple batches of each of them. So let's go ahead and look at the next one. The next one, we've graphed it for you on there. And so we're still talking about cookies and cake. So here, what we need is, this is our inequality. In other words, I need to have whatever less than all of that stuff. So this would be a max, this would be a max, this would be a max, and this would be a max. So these I can make all the things in here, but that wouldn't max out what I'm looking for. So this one here is 0 cookies and 14 cakes. Did I look at this right? This one here is, wow, this is hard to see, isn't it? So it looks like it's between 8 and 10, so that would be 9 cookies and 14 cakes. And then this one's all the way out at 12. So it would be 12 cookies and 12 cakes. And then 12 cookies and 0 cakes. So if I'm looking for a maximum, I think we could safely eliminate these 2 because this still has the same 14, but it also has a 9. This has the same 12, but it also has a 12. So one of these 2 is going to be my maximum profit. So I need to investigate that. So the cakes, which are the Y values, are 75-cent profit, and the cookies are only a 30-cent profit. So I would have 9 times 30 cents plus 14 times 75 cents, or I would do 12 times 30 cents plus 14 times 75 cents. So, not 14, 12. So it's not really clear what we need to look at yet, so we need to go ahead and just do our calculations there. Let me grab a calculator. So you need to just go ahead and do your calculations, find out which one. You can do it at the same time I'm doing it. So it looks like this gives you $2.70, and this gives you $10.05. So this whole little spiel gives you $13.20 for that. And then here I would do 12 times 75 . 5 . 5 It gives you 9, and then 12 times 30, whoops. Which gives you 3.6, and when I add those together, I only get 12.6. So this one would be higher, so that means 9 and 14. So in other words, 9 cookies and 14 cakes, and the maximum profit is $13.20. So writing the inequalities now, here's my first one here up at 14. And this is all the time that y is equal to 14. So I just need to make sure that y is less than or equal to 14. Whereas this one here is 12, and my x is maxing out at 12. And then this one here would just be one more, right? So we're going through at, this is 16, 18, 20. So 20 is where I started, and then I'm going down to over 4, so -1/2. And I am needing to be less than or equal to my y value. So that would be the last one for that. So again, these guys are my horizontals and my verticals, and this one I need my y-intercept, which is up here at 20, and I need my slope, and then obviously I need the things that are less than that. All right, one last one together, and then you should practice these on your own, kind of see how you do, or look at your, 5.1 through 5.4 would be good things to practice. So this one here, we're using devices, and our battery is going down at different rates. So this is the starting point for each of them, and we want to write a model for that. So we have 80 and 60. So 80, it starts at 80, and it goes down 10% each time, per hour rather. And then the other one starts at 60, and it goes down 8% each time for each hour. So we want to figure out at how many hours will she have the same battery in each device. So we're looking at one set of hours that gives the same battery or the same output at each. So in other words, it's just a fancy way of saying, when are these guys going to be equal to each other? So just go ahead and take a moment and solve that. I'll give you a moment. So we need to get numbers on one side. We need to get letters on the other. So that means that after 10 hours, they would be the same. Now, when will we run out? In other words, when is it that we want something to be 0? Remember, the battery is the y value or the output, and the x is the input. So I'm wanting to find out when this guy is equal to 0, and also when this guy is equal to 0. So this would be what? 80 equals 10h, so in 8 hours for our tablet. And this is 60 equals 8h. So what is 60 divided by 8? In 7.5 hours. So hopefully with a little practice, you'll start to feel a little bit more comfortable with this.